Hey everybody! So in this video, we are going to be discussing a very important topic for us, as it's something that we've been working on a lot lately in therapy, and something that we think will be important to a lot of you out there who are systems or have loved ones who are systems. And that is how to gain the cooperation of system members who are still running off the basis of trauma rules or rules instilled in them by abusers, or in the case of us and other systems with OSDD and DID like us, programming from abusers. Now, to begin, let's understand that these system members, who are sometimes hostile and sometimes not, are operating off of usually misinformation, confusion, or outright lies. And when I say misinformation, I mean that a lot of times these system members are not aware of what the current date is, and they are not aware of what the current life is like. They still believe that the trauma is continuing to occur. Much of the time, these system members have not seen anything of the outside world or the outside life of the body since the trauma was occurring, and they don't realize that it's not still happening. When I say confusion, I mean that sometimes these members of the system are confused about what's the right thing to be doing. They're not acting out of malice, they're acting out of what was the best coping strategy for them at the time, and is no longer a helpful coping strategy due to changes in life and environment. And when I say outright lies, I mean those that are told to them by people, be they abusers or unsupportive family members or unsupportive other people in the child's life at the time, who were not helping them with the trauma, or who didn't believe them if they attempted to disclose the trauma. In this case, they're operating under a set of false beliefs that they've been taught. And this is not their fault, but it can mean that they unfortunately engage in a lot of maladaptive behaviors or do things that are directly harmful to the system and to the body. Now, as to how to gain cooperation from these kinds of system members, the strategy, whether you have DID or OSDD, is going to be fairly similar. Now, if you have OSDD that does not occur with amnesia, it may actually be easier than if you have OSDD or DID, which does involve amnesia. But essentially what you are going to do is you are going to show these system members, generally recommended one at a time, and especially with the help of a therapist is also recommended. If you do not have access to one, though, it can be done on your own. It just needs to be done slowly. But what you do is you introduce one-on-one a system member to the memories relevant to the information they don't have. For instance, in our case, we had to show certain members of our system memories of the trauma, because they themselves were not a part of the actual pain and negativity. They themselves had been taught that it was their job to dole out punishment and pain and negativity. But when they were shown the memories of the other members of the system who had dealt with that pain and negativity, and they were able to feel those feelings from those system members, they were able to understand the real ramifications of what they were doing. Like, for instance, in our case, we have programming. Programming specifically refers to things that were taught to us by abusers, and that we were conditioned to respond to certain cues in order to create certain behaviors. And the people who were responsible for running the programs in our system were completely unaware of the real negative outcomes of running those programs. They were only doing what they had been trained to do. And this meant that their actions were not out of malice, but ignorance. So when we shared with them the memories of what those programs did to all of us, they were able to understand how negative they really were. And thus we were able to gain their cooperation and their trust. And mind you, it's not only showing people negative memories. We're also showing them the positive memories, the memories about our life and what it's been like since the last time they were aware in the body, which was a very long time ago. Many of these system members have not been aware of anything in the body for probably a couple of decades at least. So these particular system members were completely ignorant of what our current life is like. They believed that we were still in the trauma, that we were still a child. They didn't understand that we'd grown up, that all of this time had passed. And so that was something that we needed to show them, and that is something that we shared with them. So essentially what it boils down to is letting them see, feel, and experience and hear from different members of the system and their memories about what the trauma really did, the real ramifications. Show them the truth about things that they were lied to about, for instance. Like, for instance, many people are told if their trauma comes from abuse that in some way that abuse is their fault. We were told this as well. And in order to change that mindset and help certain system members to understand that that's not the truth, we needed to show them memories that showed that that was a lie. We needed to show them experiences that showed them that that was a lie. And once they were able to understand that that was not the truth, that they had been misled, we were able to start helping them work towards finding a healthier way to cope and a healthier way to do things. And for us, that's probably going to take a long time because there are a lot of us. For smaller systems, it may take less time, or it may take more. It's very individual. Everyone is going to be different. But understand that a lot of times, members of the system who are acting out of beliefs instilled in them during the trauma are not doing so out of an actual desire to harm you. They're doing so because they believe that they have to. Now, remember, there is no such thing as a bad system member, only bad coping mechanisms. So these hostile, often harmful behaviors are a coping mechanism, but a poor one. And that's why these members need to be shown that there are different ways to do things. In our case, we found out that many of the members of our system who had been creating a lot of pain, a lot of havoc, a lot of flashbacks, and were engaging conditioned behaviors that were causing us a lot of problems were actually young children. They were young children who had been lied to, who had been manipulated by bad people to do things that they didn't really want to do. And now these young kids are relearning things. They're being shown what life is like now for us. They're being shown what it's like to be able to live in a healthy life as a kid. They're being shown how to play, how to be kids again, things that they weren't allowed to do before. And eventually our goal is to have them choose new jobs within our system that they feel comfortable with, so that they can feel that they have purpose and something that they're working toward. But for right now, their job is just to be kids. And a lot of times in our experience, based on our own personal experience and talking to other systems, the members who are acting out of trauma because of mistaken beliefs that were either instilled in them by abusers or that were incorrectly assumed because of the trauma are young children or teenagers who simply don't know. And by sharing memories with them and showing them the falsehoods that they've come to believe are really truly falsehoods, you can begin to gain their trust and work with them. And it's very important to be able to show them the real consequences of the things that they're doing, because a lot of times they don't realize. Or if they do, they don't realize the actual impact. And for us, when we shared these memories with the system members who weren't aware, they felt bad that they had been doing these things, and we assured them that it wasn't their fault, that they had just been doing what they were taught, but that they could learn a better way. And so now they're working with us, and we're working with them cooperatively. And that is the overall goal for us, is to all get to a point of cooperation. So for anybody out there who is struggling to develop cooperation with a member of the system or multiple members of their system, please remember that a lot of times their lack of cooperation is not malicious. It's based in a lack of understanding of your experience, or in the truth about life and the things that you all went through. So by sharing memories with them and showing them the truth, you can help to gain their cooperation. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Have a good day, everybody.